please be sure to use supporter creator code Justicul when buying things in the item shop. I will give a shout out to someone who can prove they bought something with it in my next video. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. What is up everyone, it's me Justicul again, back with a brand new video. Now seeing that my how to get better at keyboard and mouse video has just hit 100,000 views, I can conclude that you all love the tips. So what better way to celebrate this huge milestone by giving you 5 more Fortnite tips that I wish I knew before I switched to PC. Pay attention OGs, because you might have forgot something off this list as well. Now tomorrow I'll be doing 1v1s with my viewers again on Twitch, so make sure you click on the link in the top of the description and follow me because you want to be there. Now let's get into the video. So yes, I know. There are a lot of tip videos already out there on YouTube and they generally cover the same tips. However, I have picked 5 tips that have been crucial to my improvement on PC and keyboard and mouse and that have elevated my Fortnite skill level to a new high. I honestly wish I knew them earlier. These tips will not only be useful for people switching from controller to keyboard and mouse, but also for players that are just getting into Fortnite, that are trying to learn the ropes of the game, or even highly skilled players that have missed out on or forgot about these tips. Without further ado, let's get into the first tip I wish I knew before I switched to PC Fortnite. Now the first tip I would like to give everyone is to look into your keybinds right now and see if your edit reset is on either scroll wheel up or scroll wheel down. It isn't? Go change that immediately. I'm sure almost everyone knows by now, but the scroll wheel edit is something that is extremely overpowered and is something that controller players unfortunately can never experience. The reason I'm giving this tip attention is because not everyone knows this, and especially people just starting out with the game or that came from controller have probably not turned this on. The reason why this is so effective is because it is the easiest thing to learn ever while giving the result of incredibly fast resets. You'll only have to scroll your mouse wheel up or down to see an immediate reset. Here's how you set it up in your keybinds. Alright, so the way you set this up is really easy. First go to reset building edit and make sure it's on either mouse wheel up or mouse wheel down. This is all personal preference. Then make sure to not bind mouse wheel up or mouse wheel down to select building edit. This is not the right one. You have to go all the way down to building edit and set this on mouse wheel up or mouse wheel down, because if you do the other one it's not gonna work as well. After you've put both building edit and reset building edit on mouse wheel up or mouse wheel down, you're ready to go. Once you have set everything up, it is time to execute it. All you have to do is scroll far enough up or down and the build will immediately reset. It is easy, takes no skill, and puts you up there with the edit reset speed of pro players. One of the biggest advantages that you can get from this, and that not everyone knows, so you pay attention as well Fortnite veterans, is that you can reset a pyramid and a floor in one single movement. All you have to do is start at the top of the pyramid and drag your cursor to the bottom of the floor or vice versa. Thank you to user PodySemic16 on Reddit for reminding me about this tip when I was browsing Reddit. Scroll wheel edit resets have massively helped me with improving on keyboard and mouse, and it is something that you have to use on PC nowadays, otherwise you're at a huge disadvantage against other players who do have it enabled. The second tip also has to do with your keybinds and is something most people know already, but others tend to forget or are too stubborn to change. I'm of course talking about auto sprint. Why should you turn auto sprint on and not use the keybind for sprinting? Let me tell you that after I explain something related to it first. So I think you have all seen my 1-week progression video from controller to keyboard and mouse, as it went viral and is the reason why my channel blew up. Now if I would get 1 V-buck for every comment I got on that video saying I copied Tfue's keybinds and that I'm a Tfue wannabe, then I would be able to buy the whole item shop every day with code Justicul. Which you should do too regardless, but that's not the point. The point is that I'm not a Tfue wannabe because I use his keybinds. It has more logic to it. Tfue put research into picking his keybinds to make sure that he has the most optimal and competitive ones, making it such a good set of keybinds. He made sure that all of his building binds are set to keys that are close to WASD, making them easily accessible. He planned them out so efficiently that every finger only has to move 1 key away from WASD to place a build. He literally has a building bind for every finger. This way, his fingers travel the fastest way possible to his build binds, resulting into faster building. Now with this in mind, why is it such an issue that someone copies this and tries tries it for his first time on keyboard and mouse if it is the most optimal set of keybinds. That's right, it shouldn't be, and after that you can always change some keys to fit it more to your preference. That is what I did by binding my edit button to left control, as the pinky is usually not used because it feels uncomfortable, but for me it didn't, and it gives you one more finger to utilize, making it that more effective. Now how does this whole story relate to unbinding your sprint and turning auto sprint on? That is because it gives you one more key to use that is close to WASD. Normally you would have binded it to either shift, left control or C, and those are all very easy keys to hit with your pinky or thumb and will go to waste if you only use it for sprint if you normally only sprint in the game anyways. This gives you another key which you can always place a building, weapon or perhaps inventory bind on. Hopefully you are now either reminded of this or convinced to change it, because it also relieves a lot of stress of your pinky if you don't press the key down half of the time. Hooray for less finger cramps. The third tip is a little bit more general for all PC games that require a keyboard, but it's also really important for Fortnite in specific. This is learning new keybinds, practicing / using keybinds that feel uncomfortable for you, and keeping your fingers warm. All you players that are switching from controller to keyboard and mouse should really pay attention here. As an example, let me take you back to the time I played CSGO for the first time ever 6 years ago. This was my first ever keyboard and mouse game where I properly set up the keybinds. My knife was on 1, my AR/sniper was on 2, my secondary on 3, and my smoke/flash is on 4. This for me was the most uncomfortable movement I have ever experienced, as I wasn't used to stretching my fingers out that far, and it even gave me some cramps sometimes. This 9 out of 10 times is also the case for Fortnite players getting used to new keybinds or even their first set of keybinds, and they quickly shy away from it because it is uncomfortable. You shouldn't do this. If the keybind setup is optimal, then practice with it, as you will get used to it over time. If your fingers cannot physically reach the numbers, then refrain from using them, of course, and find another solution. But please don't sleep on the number keys. You might even go as crazy as Venos, who presses F1, F2, F3, F4 and F5, but you gotta either have some long fingers for that or the stretch of a god. Definitely not my cup of tea. My number one tip and main way to practice this is to just spam the living crap out of those numbers until you're used to it. This is why you always see me and others switching to my pickaxe and shotgun all the time when running. This does not only help you get used to pressing the buttons, it also keeps your fingers warm, which is crucial for hitting keys better. No one likes to play with cold hands and fingers. This also happens in CSGO with switching to the knife all the time and inspecting it. Also, now that we are on the topic of keeping your hands warm during games, they will 100% get cold. And you can combat this in small amounts by either cracking your knuckles, moving your fingers, or sitting on your hands for a short period of time or waiting for a game or drop. Now you know why you always see Tfue cracking his knuckles. Or, I don't know, it could also be impulsive behavior. These tips at least help me. The second to last tip is to please, for the love of God, not flick shoot with an assault rifle or sometimes shotgun. Nowadays it is really popularized for some reason to move your cursor off the enemy and then flick it back onto his head. You can for example see Tfue doing this sometimes in his streams, and with Tal Frenzy being the most popular game mode in Kovacs under all streamers and players of the Fortnite community, flicking is usually more the norm than the exception. Now while it is necessary to be good at hitting flick shots, you must be careful of not doing it too much and in places where you actually shouldn't be doing it only because it looks cool. This will make your aim worse instead of better. For some people this bad habit came from the CSGO days, as here people move the cursor off and back on the player due to muzzle flash and crosshair hiding models, and in CSGO flicking is actually a useful skill, as the game has much more emphasis on holding and pre-aiming angles. The time to kill in Fortnite is way longer, you need to make large adjustments to get the crosshair on target, and you have more time to do so, making flicking not viable at all. Only when it is absolutely necessary in a shotgun fight, you should use it. Never should you ever use a flicking style with an AR in Fortnite. People that claim they have this style are just putting themselves at a disadvantage. My main tip for this is to really take your time with landing shotgun shots if you can, and when aiming with an assault rifle, really focus on crosshair placement and learn this effectively. You might also have to turn your sensitivity down quite a bit for this. So the next time you practice in Kovacs, put less time in playing Tal Frenzy, as it's more for warming up your aim and stroking your ego, and put more time into modes like Ascended Tracking and Tal Frenzy 180, where you have to move your crosshair more accurately and further away. And at last but not least, we have arrived at the last tip. Now this is a quick tip that has only recently been popularized, but is also good to use. Colorblind mode. You have probably seen famous streamers like Mongrel, Cypher, Ninja and Tfue already use this, and I have tons of people in my Twitch chat every day asking why I use colorblind mode and what settings I use for it. To answer this question, I use the Deuteronope mode and put it on 5. The main reason for this is that you can look a lot more clearly into the storm, and that makes for tracking your opponent better. If I wish I had known one thing before I switched to PC, then it would definitely definitely be this tip, because whenever I try to gatekeep someone coming out of the storm, I always end up not eliminating him because I can barely see anything. Don't get me wrong, some people can see amazingly well into the storm, but for me it was like looking at something after pouring shampoo in my eyes for an hour straight. Dreadful, to put it shortly. With this new setting I can now track enemies way easier in the storm and actually get some easy kills like it always should have been. Now I'll show you some in-game examples of looking into the storm with this colorblind mode on and off. As you can see, it is way better. Now this was a mix of all the beginner and advanced tips that I consider that have helped me the most when I made the switch to PC. I know most of these have probably already been covered, but this is something you can't avoid and I wanted to share my own personal experiences to help everyone the best way possible. Now if I helped you in any way with this video or if you enjoyed it in general, then please leave a like on it and consider subscribing. It would be greatly appreciated. Besides that, have an amazing day, keep on the grind, and I'll see you all in the next video.